Ladies and gentlemen, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We all get the same amount of time, yet the results some people achieve in their lives are drastically different from the rest of us. And the biggest difference isn't luck, it's how they spend their time. The top 1% of achievers in this world understand one fundamental truth: time is the most valuable asset you'll ever have. So let me ask you, are you wasting yours? Rule 1: stop settling for mediocrity. You cannot expect to live an extraordinary life while settling for an average routine. Mediocrity is easy, it's comfortable, it's what most people do, and that's why most people are stuck. But greatness, success, and fulfillment come from discomfort. They come from pushing beyond what's good enough. You need to stop accepting anything less than your best and aim higher. Rule 2: time is your most valuable asset. Here's the hard truth: you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. The top 1% understand this, and they act accordingly. They guard their time like it's their most precious commodity, because it is. How do you spend your hours? Are you focused on things that truly matter, or are you letting distractions eat away at your life? Rule 3: build systems that serve you. Successful people don't rely on motivation to get things done. Motivation fades. Systems don't. The top 1% know this, and they've built systems that push them to success. They have routines, strategies, and processes that make success inevitable. If you want to level up, you need to make things automatic. Create habits, rituals, and routines that serve your goals, and suddenly, success will become a byproduct of the systems you've created. Rule 4: focus on results, not busyness. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Let's get one thing straight: the top 1% don't care about how busy you are. They care about results. Stop filling your day with meaningless tasks that don't move the needle. Instead, identify the high-leverage activities that will drive you forward and focus on those. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right things. Rule 5: consistency and discipline are key. Success is built one day at a time. It's not about a sudden burst of effort, it's about consistently showing up and doing the work. The top 1% didn't get there by accident. They showed up every day, even when it was hard. They made the tough decisions when everyone else was giving up. They put in the hours when others were looking for shortcuts. You need to be disciplined enough to keep moving forward, even when the motivation runs out. Rule 6: leverage your strengths. You can't be great at everything. The top 1% don't try to do it all, they focus on what they're best at. Find your zone of genius and double down on it. Don't waste your time trying to improve your weaknesses. Instead, surround yourself with people who complement your strengths and can handle the areas you're not as strong in. Rule 7: master your mindset. The top 1% don't just focus on what they do, they focus on how they think. They've mastered their mindset. They believe in themselves and their ability to achieve. They don't let fear, doubt, or negativity hold them back. They cultivate an unshakable belief in their goals, and that belief drives them to take massive action. You need to control your mind, or your mind will control you. Rule 8: invest in your growth. Top performers never stop learning. They constantly seek growth, whether it's through books, courses, mentors, or experiences. They understand that their growth directly correlates with their success. You need to ask yourself, what are you doing today to invest in your growth? How are you improving yourself for tomorrow? Growth isn't optional for the top 1%. It's a daily, non-negotiable commitment. So, if you're tired of wasting time, if you're ready to stop settling, and if you want to be part of the top 1% that gets results, start by mastering these rules. Your time is now. Don't let it slip away. Now take these rules, apply them, and make your life something extraordinary. Let's go. Nam. The most dangerous thing you can do in life is settle for mediocrity. It's the silent killer of greatness. slowly draining your potential until you wake up one day and realize that you spent years living a life of good enough. It's easy to slip into this comfortable zone, especially when the world around you constantly reinforces the idea that mediocrity is acceptable. After all, we live in a society where the average is the norm, where just getting by is often rewarded with a pat on the back and a job well done. But let me tell you something, mediocrity is the enemy of success. The top 1% of achievers in this world don't settle for mediocrity. They don't see it as acceptable, and they certainly don't allow it to become a part of their reality. They're constantly striving for excellence, never satisfied with good enough. Why? Because they know that greatness doesn't come by accident. It comes from pushing the boundaries, doing the things others aren't willing to do, and always challenging yourself to be better. Excellence is a mindset, not a destination. When you settle for mediocrity, you're essentially accepting a life of regret. You're trading the potential for greatness for comfort. You're telling yourself that it's okay to coast through life, to do the bare minimum, to be content with what everyone else is doing. And let me tell you this, if you're just doing what everyone else is doing, you'll never stand out. You'll never be extraordinary. Mediocrity is the safest route, but it's also the most dangerous because it robs you of your future. Think about the people who have made a lasting impact on this world. Did they settle for mediocrity? Did they follow the crowd and do what was expected of them? Absolutely not. They disrupted the status quo. They did things that others thought were impossible. They invested their time, energy, and resources into becoming the best versions of themselves. Mediocrity didn't have a place in their world because they understood that success requires relentless pursuit and unwavering commitment to excellence. The reality is that we all have the potential to achieve greatness, but it's so easy to fall into the trap of complacency. It's easy to get comfortable with where you are and forget about where you could be. It's easy to look around and see everyone else doing the same thing, living the same life, and think, that's enough for me. But the top 1% don't think like that. They understand that you can't become extraordinary by doing ordinary things. They know that every decision, every action, and every thought must align with their vision of success. It's time to stop accepting mediocrity in your own life. It's time to stop settling for a future that doesn't excite you. Think about the dreams you've always had, the goals that you've wanted to accomplish, the life you've imagined for yourself. You can have all of that, but only if you stop holding yourself back. Only if you stop telling yourself that it's okay to be average. Mediocrity is a choice. Success is a choice. You can choose to be ordinary, or you can choose to be exceptional. But that choice requires you to take responsibility for your life. It requires you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I doing everything I can to reach my full potential? If you're not, then you need to change. The top 1% aren't afraid of hard work or sacrifices. They understand that nothing worthwhile comes without effort. They know that greatness is a result of intentional action, not chance. So ask yourself this, do you want to live a life where you look back with pride, knowing you gave it everything you had? Or do you want to look back and wonder what could have been, knowing you played it safe and never pushed yourself to be more? The choice is yours. The moment you decide to stop settling for mediocrity is the moment you start on the path to greatness. It's time to demand more from yourself. Don't let fear, comfort, or complacency hold you back. Strive for excellence in everything you do. Pursue your goals with passion and persistence. The world needs your unique talents, your ideas, and your vision. Mediocrity will never get you there, but excellence will. And the only way to achieve excellence is to refuse to settle for anything less than your best. Remember, mediocrity may seem like the safe route, but it's also the road to nowhere. Choose greatness. Choose to be exceptional. Choose to stop wasting your life. Time is the most precious asset you have, and yet it's the one thing that most people take for granted. You can always make more money. You can always find new opportunities. But once time is gone, you can never get it back. The top 1% understand this on a deep level, and they guard their time like it's the most valuable resource in the world because to them it is. They don't waste it on distractions, unnecessary tasks, or things that don't move the needle toward their goals. They understand that every moment counts, and they use their time intentionally, focusing on the activities that bring the greatest return on investment. What's amazing is that everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but not everyone uses those hours the same way. Look around you. You'll see people who are constantly busy, running from one thing to the next, but they never seem to get anything done. They're stuck in a cycle of constant activity, but none of that activity is adding value to their lives. And then you have the top performers, the ones who are making real progress, achieving extraordinary things, and it often looks like they have more time than everyone else. It's not that they have more hours in the day, it's that they've mastered the art of time management. They know how to prioritize, how to say no, and how to cut out the noise so they can focus on what really matters. The key to managing your time is to realize that time is finite. Every minute you waste is a minute you can never get back. That's a powerful realization, and it should shift the way you approach your day. Every decision you make about how you spend your time should be intentional. Ask yourself, does this task or activity align with my goals? Is this bringing me closer to the life I want to create? If the answer is no, then it's time to reassess how you're spending your time. The top 1% are masters of time because they understand that success is not about working harder, it's about working smarter. They don't just fill their day with a laundry list of tasks, they focus on high-leverage activities. These are the actions that produce the biggest results with the least amount of effort. They identify the things that move the needle and put their energy into those areas. They don't waste time on things that don't matter, and they make every minute count. This is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. One of the most common time wasters in today's world is the endless stream of distractions. From social media to news feeds to the constant notifications on your phone, it's incredibly easy to get pulled away from what really matters. The average person spends hours scrolling through their phones, consuming content that adds little value to their life. The top 1%, however, recognize these distractions for what they are: time thieves. They've learned to block out the noise, to create boundaries around their time, and to protect their focus. They know that what you choose to focus on determines your future, and they make sure their attention is only directed toward what will drive them forward. But it's not just about cutting out distractions. It's also about being intentional with how you structure your time. The top 1% plan their day in advance. They have a clear agenda and they stick to it. They're not winging it. They don't let the day dictate their priorities. They dictate their priorities and their day follows. This means creating a daily routine that is designed to maximize your energy and productivity. It means setting boundaries around when and where you work and when you rest. It means being disciplined enough to protect your time and avoid the temptation to get sidetracked. Time is also about quality, not just quantity. Many people think that the more hours they put in, the more they'll get done. But that's not necessarily true. It's not about working long hours, it's about working focused hours. The top 1% know that their energy is limited, so they make sure their most important tasks are done when they're at their peak. They know when to work and when to rest, ensuring that their energy is consistently high and their focus is sharp. You may not be able to control the number of hours in a day, but you can control how you spend those hours. The top 1% don't let time slip away, they harness it. They use their time as a powerful tool to achieve their goals. They are intentional with every moment, knowing that their time is a non-renewable resource. So, how are you spending your time? Are you using it wisely, or are you letting it slip through your fingers? The reality is, if you don't start taking control of your time, life will continue to pass you by. But if you start treating time like the valuable resource it is, you'll unlock a whole new level of productivity and success. The top 1% don't waste time, they make time work for them. And that's exactly what you should do. Start now. Start valuing your time. Make every minute count. Your future self will thank you for it. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most talented or the most intelligent. In fact, many of them have achieved what they have not because of raw talent, but because they've mastered the art of systems and habits. Systems are the foundation upon which the top 1% build their success. Without systems, success becomes a matter of luck or fleeting motivation, and we all know that motivation doesn't last. But systems work day in and day out, creating results even when you're not at your best. The top 1% understand that to consistently perform at a high level, you can't rely on motivation alone. Motivation is a temporary feeling. It's that burst of energy you feel when you start something new, but it fades as quickly as it arrives. You can't build a life of success and achievement based on how motivated you feel on a given day. That's why the top performers have learned how to create systems that carry them through the tough days. These systems allow them to consistently show up, do the work, and make progress, even when their motivation is nowhere to be found. Think about it. If your success is dependent on how you feel, you're going to be inconsistent. There will be days when you're fired up and ready to take on the world, and there will be days when you don't feel like doing anything at all. But systems don't rely on your emotions. They are designed to work whether you feel like it or not. They are the secret to achieving consistent results, regardless of your mood or energy levels. Systems are the processes you put in place to make success inevitable. They're the routines, rituals, and frameworks that guide your decisions and actions so you don't have to think about them every time. They take the guesswork out of success and create structure in your life. The top 1% don't leave their success to chance. They have systems in place that set them up for victory. Whether it's a system for managing their time, their energy, or their goals, they've built a framework that ensures they're always moving forward. One of the most powerful systems the top 1% use is their daily routine. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin your day with chaos, distractions, or aimless wandering, you're setting yourself up for failure. But when you have a morning routine that is intentional and designed to fuel your success, you've already won the first battle of the day. Successful people don't leave their mornings to chance. They wake up with a clear purpose, knowing exactly what they need to do to set themselves up for a productive and successful day. Having a daily routine isn't just about productivity, it's also about energy management. The top 1% understand that their energy is limited, and they know exactly when to work, when to take breaks, and when to recharge. They've built systems around their energy levels to ensure they are always performing at their best. They know that doing high-focus work in the morning, when their energy is fresh, is far more effective than trying to power through difficult tasks when they're exhausted. They prioritize rest, nutrition, and exercise as part of their system to keep their energy levels high. But systems aren't just for managing time and energy, they're also for achieving goals. The top 1% break their big, audacious goals down into smaller, actionable steps, creating a clear roadmap for success. Without this structure, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the enormity of the task ahead. Systems allow you to focus on the next step, rather than getting lost in the big picture. The top performers set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, and they design systems to ensure those goals are met. These systems are the daily, weekly, and monthly habits that keep them on track. Habits play a huge role in creating these systems. Habits are the automatic behaviors that happen without conscious thought, and they are the building blocks of success. When you build strong, positive habits, you eliminate the need for willpower. The more good habits you have, the less energy and mental effort you need to exert to get things done. For example, the top 1% may have a habit of reading every morning or exercising daily. These small, consistent actions compound over time and lead to massive results. The beauty of systems and habits is that they create momentum. Once you get into a rhythm, things start to flow. You don't have to think about the next step because your system has already designed it for you. Momentum is powerful because it makes success almost inevitable. You stop fighting against your own resistance and start working with the natural flow of your routines. Over time, these systems and habits become ingrained in your life, and the results speak for themselves. So, if you want to start achieving at the level of the top 1%, you need to look at your systems and habits. What processes are you putting in place to ensure that you're working consistently toward your goals? Are you creating a structure that supports your success, or are you leaving things up to chance? The key to mastering your productivity and your life is in the systems you create. Build the right systems and success will follow. In the world we live in today, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle. There's a culture of busyness where the idea of working around the clock, constantly moving, and juggling a million things at once is often seen as a badge of honor. But let me tell you something, being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. In fact, it often means the opposite. The top 1% don't focus on being busy, they focus on being effective. They don't just fill their days with endless tasks, they prioritize the activities that produce the biggest results. And that's the difference between those who make real progress and those who stay stuck. The first step in making this shift is understanding that busyness is not the same as productivity. A lot of people mistake activity for progress. They check off a long list of tasks, feel accomplished, but at the end of the day, they haven't moved the needle. They've been busy, but they haven't been productive. You could spend 8 hours working, but if those 8 hours are spent on low-value tasks that don't contribute to your ultimate goals, you've just wasted a significant portion of your day. The top 1% understand that productivity isn't about how much you do, it's about how much impact what you do has. The key to this shift is to focus on results. The top 1% are obsessed with getting results. They understand that everything they do should have a direct impact on their goals, and they structure their days around activities that will move them closer to their vision. They don't waste time on activities that don't serve their purpose. They don't get caught up in the small, trivial tasks that make us feel like we're accomplishing something when, in reality, they're nothing more than distractions. The 1% have mastered the art of saying no. They know what to prioritize and what to eliminate from their schedule. This is where the concept of high-leverage activities comes in. The top performers don't just work hard, they work strategically. They identify the activities that will yield the greatest results for the least amount of effort and double down on those. These are the actions that will accelerate their progress and move them closer to their goals in the shortest amount of time. Whether it's focusing on their core business activities, investing in relationships that will help them grow, or honing their skills, the 1% know how to prioritize the tasks that matter most. They understand that their time and energy are finite, so they use them in ways that maximize their return. One of the most powerful tools for managing your time and focus is time blocking. The top 1% don't leave their day up to chance. They plan it out in advance, blocking out time for the activities that will move them forward. By setting aside specific chunks of time for specific tasks, they eliminate the temptation to get sidetracked by distractions. They know exactly what they're working on, and for how long, and they don't let anything get in the way of those priorities. Time blocking is a game changer because it forces you to make intentional choices about where your time goes. It also helps you avoid the trap of being constantly reactive to what's happening around you. Instead of reacting to emails, calls, or meetings, you're proactively working on what matters most. Another critical factor in being productive instead of busy is the ability to delegate. The top 1% know that they cannot do everything themselves. They recognize that their time is valuable, and if they want to continue scaling and growing, they need to leverage the talents and expertise of others. Delegation allows them to focus on what they do best, while empowering others to handle the tasks that are outside of their area of expertise. This is how they scale their impact, by surrounding themselves with talented people who can handle the work, allowing them to focus on higher-level tasks that drive their success. It's also important to recognize that productivity is about quality, not just quantity. The top 1% don't work for the sake of working. They don't just push through their to-do lists for the sake of feeling busy. They work with focus and intention. They aim to produce the highest quality work, even if it means doing fewer tasks. They know that excellence is more valuable than speed or volume. This mindset shift is crucial. When you focus on the quality of your output, rather than the quantity, you elevate the standard of your work and position yourself for greater success. In order to become truly productive, you also need to get rid of the idea that you need to do everything. You don't. The top 1% are selective with their time and energy. They understand that it's better to do a few things exceptionally well than to spread yourself too thin trying to do everything. They focus on their core strengths and let go of anything that isn't aligned with their goals. This is where the power of focus comes in. Focus allows you to dive deeper into the things that matter and eliminates the noise that distracts you from your ultimate purpose. Finally, one of the most important aspects of productivity is the ability to recharge. The top 1% understand that rest is just as important as work. They don't burn themselves out by constantly pushing at full throttle. They take time to rest, recover, and recharge so they can perform at their best. Without this balance, you risk burning out, which is the enemy of long-term productivity. The top performers understand that sustainability is key. You can't keep performing at a high level if you're constantly running on empty.